Hello, friends, and welcome back. Let's continue the journey here. Thank you again for coming along on the ride with us. We hope you're finding this presentation of value. We are now coming towards the home stretch. Now that we have made a very strong case and given you all the detailed reasons for why you should have a business coach available and accessible, let's try to go over some of the common myths. So ask yourself these questions and see if you actually believe in them, and if you do, what level is your belief. And they'll tell you that in itself will tell you how successful this relationship might be, or what you are how you're approaching it. So number one, we've hired a coach. Our success is now guaranteed. Is it really? We just talked about in one of the earlier slides, why is it that sometimes the best coaches fail to achieve results? So just the fact that you've hired a coach is not a guarantee for success. Just like the same way hiring the best player is not a guarantee for you to win the Super Bowl, or having the best offense or the best defense in itself is not a guarantee for success. So just the fact that you've hired a coach, you've of course taken a step in the right direction. That's really what was needed, but it's all about the execution ultimately as well. That what the goals that you define, the relationship that you have, the engagement, the access that you have with your coach, and vice versa. How does that control? What kind of access do they have to be able to control the next step, to be able to really take meaningful decisions for the company? If we fail, we can just blame it on the coach. So if you have a coach, and we just talked about the fact that coaches can fail and it does happen all the time. The best coach in the world cannot come in and save your company if you have a defective product. The best coach with the best branding strategy, the best marketing plan, the best execution plan, the best supply chain logistics plan, with all of those successes and relationships, cannot save you if your vision is not right, or if the product features are not aligned with the marketplace. So just imagine that for a company to fail, for a project to fail, a multitude of things must have happened. You cannot blame it on the coach, but you need to blame it on the system. And again, as a part of any company, this is like whether we call it growing pains or we call it learning opportunities. We really have to do an assessment. And when something does happen, that's the point when you must have somebody with you who can sort of take you through the steps of analysis, self-evaluation, trying to figure out what happened, why you went off the track, and why was it that no one caught it. The fact that you're going off the track, again, that could happen. It could happen to the best of us. But why was it that no one caught it in time until it was too late? So again, if you fail, we cannot necessarily blame it on the coach, but how you recover, that's again where this relationship would be of tremendous value to you. A coach can lead a company into the wrong direction. Can that really happen? The coach can only take the company to a direction where you want to take it. You ultimately, you being the owners, being the management team, the executive team, the visionary team, you are the ones who define the standards. You are the ones who define where you ultimately want to be. The coach will help you get there. They can, once you define the target where you want to be, the coach can maybe give you some recommendation on how to get there, what processes have to be streamlined for you to ultimately achieve those results, or if the results are even viable and feasible or not, they could even give you advice on that. But ultimately, the direction where the company goes is your direction. Coach is just a tool. Coach is just a resource that'll hopefully help you get there. But again, the ultimate responsibility is on the management team and the vision of the management team. We cannot say this strongly enough. This is a really important determination that coaches are ultimately committed to the executives and not to the company. And we are calling this a myth. So where do you think this question lies? Who are the coaches ultimately accountable to? Not to the executives individually. They're accountable to the company, which means the burden is on the coach and for the company to acknowledge it and accept the recommendation if the coaches are saying that one person is not the right fit for a job or for any particular role, or if it's not leading the company in the right direction, or for some reason they're becoming an obstacle, or they could be the most qualified person, but for some reason the chemistry is not working, or the actual execution is not working, and they want to recommend some changes. So they're ultimately responsible for the company because they want to look at the trajectory of the company, the growth of the company, where they are today, where they want to be tomorrow, the pathway to get there, the roadmap for success. They're ultimately looking at that and not necessarily accountable to the executives themselves. This is really very important determination. So again, in most cases, there is no conflict. Coaches do not have to be against the executives in order to favor the company. But then again, if there is the conflicting point, coaches should feel free and they should be empowered to point out what are the recommendations they're making, which could potentially go against the personal interests of some of the executives. And the coach is required to help us make connections with potential partners. Even though we have said this throughout this presentation multiple times, that coaches can open doors for you. They are there to make the pathway smoother for you. They're able to not just remove some of the obstacles on your path, but they're also supposed to bring you the tools and resources that you need to succeed. But that's not a requirement. If a coach is not able to have that level of access within your domain, within your industry, it's not a required part of this relationship. Okay, let's now look at another set of questions.